Hey there, I'm Andy Mangum. I am a minister in the Christian Church Disciples of Christ. I spent about 25 years in local church ministry, both as a youth minister and as a local church pastor. And now I've spent the last 7 years in judicatory ministry, which means I'm a regional minister. Just to say, I've been doing this a while. And I'm exploring AI and thinking about ways that we can use AI for ministry purposes. I do that with some caveats. I think we have to be mindful of good stewardship and recognizing that generative AI uses a far greater amount of energy at the data center that computes that than does just a Google search. We want to look for equity. The generative AI is drawing from content that's already out there in the internet, and that content still reflects the white privilege of our culture. And so we want to be clear about ways to promote equity. I think a third principle that we want to think about for ethical usage is connection, that we not encourage our people or ourselves to replace AI, use AI to replace human interactions. And I think that's a real danger. And then the third thing is integrity, which means that I think we have to be clear when we're using AI and avoid plagiarism. Again, it's drawing from content that is out on the web. And so when we use it, it is easy for us to plagiarize. So so the ways to avoid that is to not copy, cut, and paste the results back into your AI, your product. Never ask it to write your sermon for you, but give it input, and that's what I've been working at is ways that we can create the inputs ourselves and then use AI to put that in a form that might be a little bit more receptive and easier to handle. So it's functioning more as an editor than as the writer. So for this purposes, I'm thinking about how to ask AI to help me write some newsletter articles or email blasts or maybe even a social media post. And but I want to do it on some events that I have. So one of the things we're going to do, and I'm going to show you in just a little bit, is this is the spreadsheet that I work from. I have become, especially in this job, have become just a real dedicated user of Excel. It helps me organize things. I like tables. I like the way that tables allow me to sort and filter. And so if that's you, then join me, right? But one of the things that my wife tells me is that I have conversations in my head that I forget to say out loud. And in 30 plus years of ministry, that's absolutely been true. I just have had a bad habit of not communicating out what I need to communicate out about events, about initiatives, about the worship service, you name it. And so if AI can help me correct that problem, that's great. So one of the ways to do this is to think about all of the things that you need to think through relative to whatever you're planning, whether that's curriculum for Vacation Bible School or the worship notes that you want to give to your elders and worship leaders for each Sunday in a series, or in my case, a calendar of events. This is a calendar of events, to be fair, and to fulfill my obligation for integrity. I created this list of fake events with AI. I asked it to produce, and I created a fictitious region in the Christian church, Big Country. For those of you who are from my part of the world, you'll know that a local television station referred to our part of Texas as the Big Country. And so I still use Big Country when I need a fictitious place to be from, a fictitious region. So I've created these events. Well, how did I come up with these elements: the event, the audience, the theme, the start date, the start time, end date and end time, location, the purpose or goal, the featured presenters, the activities, and the registration? How did I come up with that list? Well, some of that's obvious, right? It's who, what, when, where, how, and why. But the other parts of that is that I relied on AI. So I create a checklist, and so you've got a possible prompt or template of a prompt to give AI. your platform of choice to help you think through the elements that you might need in those columns. So I said, as whatever your position is, working in whatever organization you're working in, please help me create a checklist of things to consider when planning whatever my project is. And so for this, I had, as a regional minister in the Christian Church, Disciples of Christ, please help me create a checklist of things to consider when planning for an annual continuing educational calendar for clergy. So I'm going to take that prompt and I'm going to place that into my AI. My preferred platform is Perplexity because it rigidly footnotes where it's getting its information, and so it's going to provide that for me. And I will say a reminder that I believe you ought to do your work. This is about good stewardship. When you're creating prompts for the generative AI, they can get fairly lengthy and detailed, and so I recommend using OneNote for Microsoft. This is my personal time. This is my personal channel, so I can endorse what I want. Use OneNote to keep those AI prompts going, keep them stored somewhere. So I'm keeping all of my AI for ministry prompts in one place. So then I go back here to the Perplexity, which is the AI platform I use, and it's given me some. So what are the requirements that I need? And it says ensure a minimum of 15 contact hours of continuing education per year. That's actually a requirement. I think it may be in the TIFCOM document. Include options of up to 6 hours of reading as part of that. So it's making sure to think through some other things. It's not giving me those columns, but the specific training requirements, the schedule, those are other things that are specific. So it's done a really good job of thinking through the overall goal and the details. But it says set dates for regionally sponsored education. So that's the education, coordinate with other regions, institutions. So it's given me a good checklist of things to think through, not necessarily what I was hoping it was going to do, but still, it's very good, right? One really good use of generative AI is to, on the front end of things, not ask it to write your stuff, but ask you to help you think through what it is you need to write or what it is you need to plan. Okay, so with that, I have my events and my calendars, and I did create a prompt for this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use that as the data source for a mail merge. I know it's not mail, but there's a directory function there, and I'm going to construct a template of a prompt, or I have constructed the template of a prompt to convert each of those events into a newsletter article. So here's my fake event template. It says, writing as the regional minister of the Christian Church in the Big Country, Disciples of Christ, or CCBC, please create a newsletter article announcing. And then this here is my is the merge field. So when you do a mail merge, what you do is you select the mailings menu, you say start, and you're going to actually create a directory. Once you've done that, then you select the recipients and you say use an existing list. So you actually have to exit out of the Excel spreadsheet that you're in, and you put all those dates in, close that, and then when you say use an existing list, you locate that data source, that Excel spreadsheet, to use as your data source. Once you've done that, then it's going to take those column headings from that table and it's going to call them merge fields. And so then you can go through and insert the merge field that will then from each record draw those that data into that spot on the template. So for me, it says, please create a newsletter article announcing the event with the theme of, whatever this theme is, This event is especially designed for, and I've got a little reference to the audience, and I say refer to the provided abbreviation list for full names. You can tell, you can give the prompt some data that it needs to work from. This event will commence on, and it's got the start date, start time, and conclusion date and time. Our goal for this gathering is, and you can insert the goal or purpose in your article, and then it says, these are some instructions that it's given. I created this prompt in rough draft form. I gave it to Perplexity and said, make this prompt better, and this is what it gave me back. So it says, please include a warm welcome and introduction to the event, an explanation of the theme, and then you include the theme merge field again, so it repeats itself, and its significance. Key activities and highlights participants can expect, like, and for me, I had not thought about including activities on my planning spreadsheet. And so it suggested that when I asked it for the prompt, it gave me some better content. And so I went ahead and created that column and then made some answers up there. The importance of this event for the audience and how this event aligns with our regional mission and values. And then I put in the mission of the Christian Church of Big Country, which is to enable disciple congregations to be and to share the good news from our doorsteps to the ends of the earth. That's actually the mission statement of the whole Christian Church, Disciples of Christ. Include any special guests, so if applicable. And that's where I'm drawing in my featured speakers, my featured presenters, which is one of those columns that's there. And then a call to action for registration, directing them, readers, to refer to. And that's where I've got my registration merge field. For that most part, it's just fake URLs that I have put in there. But this says, please maintain a tone that is engaging, informative, and reflects the spirit of our Disciples of Christ community. Aim for a length, and that's really helpful. Tell it how long you think this should be, 250 to 300 words. Remember to use the full name of the audience group based on the abbreviation provided, referring to the list below. And then I've got it, DWM, DMM, DCM, DYM, commission ministers, congregational leaders, board moderators. And this is a list also that I had AI help me to produce. So I had those first 10 or so categories, but it produced the abbreviations for me. And so that way I don't have to write that out. I can refer to an abbreviations. I may still want to, but it's helpful to remain consistent in your planning spreadsheet. It's helpful really to stay consistent with abbreviations or terminology, because that's what's going to allow you to sort that. That has to do with how you use Excel. But anyway, so I've gotten these categories and then the whole region, region-wide there. So now that I have that, I would simply go over here and say Finish Merge and edit individual documents. I've actually already done this, and so I can show you the results. But now it has given me 5 different prompts that use that template that I can pull into AI one at a time. Now, somebody's going to be able to tell me in the comments, if anybody watches this besides my family that I forced this on, if somebody's going to be able to tell me, right, how to automate that so that it automatically pulls that into my platform, my AI platform. But for me, I'm going to do it manually. So now that I have this prompt written, I can copy it all. And then come over to my Perplexity and hit enter. And it's taking some time to complete that. It's not super easy. All right. So now it says, Dear Big Country Disciples, I am thrilled to announce our upcoming Big Country Disciples Unity Conference themed Many Branches, One Vine, taking place on March 15th and 16th, 2025. This annual gathering brings together congregations from across our region to worship, fellowship, and grow in our shared mission. Our theme, inspired by John 15:5, reminds us that while we are diverse in our ministries and congregations, we are united in Christ. As branches on the true vine, we draw strength from our connection to Jesus and each other. This unity empowers us to bear fruit in our communities and beyond. This conference will feature inspiring worship services and engaging workshops on church growth, community outreach, and ample opportunities for fellowship. We are honored to welcome our distinguished guests. I hope all of these people are actually fictitious, because I did ask it to create fictitious names. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, theologian and ecumenical dialogue expert; Marcus Thompson, National Disciples of Christ leadership consultant; Sarah Greenwood, author and congregational development specialist. These speakers will share insights to enrich our ministries and strengthen our collective impact. This event is particularly significant for our Disciples Women, Disciples Men, and Commission Ministry Network, and congregational leaders. It provides a unique opportunity for them to learn and collaborate in furthering our regional mission to enable disciple congregations to be and to share the good news from our doorsteps to the ends of the earth. Join us as we celebrate our unity in Christ and equip ourselves for greater service. Together we will explore how our diverse ministries can work in harmony to fulfill our calling as disciples. Registration now at ccbcdoc.org, a fake website, I hope. Event registration, BDUC. Let's come together as many branches of one vine, ready to grow and bear fruit for God's kingdom. All right. So, again, I think I've said this before. You don't have to use all that. Just because it produced it does not mean you copy, cut, and paste that and send it out as is. You want to edit that. There are things here that I would not say. Probably would not use God's kingdom language as much as it does. Though I did like the fact that it recognized many branches, one vine, being taken from John 15, but that may not be the biblical text that the conference is working from, and so I would want to rewrite that to match that. It did feel a bit wordy to me as well. This paragraph here that tells me who this is for, that may be a bit broad, so I may want to cut that down a little bit. But you get the point now. It's given me that email blast. Now that I've done that, now that I've gotten all the information in there, I can ask it to give me a 100-word social media post about this event. And once it's done that, it can begin to construct a different version of that. So it's just telling me, join us for the Big Country Disciples Unity Conference, Many Branches, One Vine, the date, the time, who it's for, what it's for, and whatnot. So again, these are things that you could write yourself, but it may be a little bit more efficient. And for me, at least, what I'm finding helpful in AI is not so much that it's doing the writing for me. I very rarely use the kind of things it writes for me. But it does help me think through what information needs to get included, and constructing those prompts is helping me to think through the way I think. So I hope that helps. Tell me what you're using AI in ministry for, and how you think my rubric of stewardship, equity, connection, and integrity needs to be modified so that we're not just doing an efficient thing, but we're doing the right thing in the right way. Hope that helps. Take care.